Hi, I'm Sunny. I broke my ankle a few weeks ago, and I've figured out some ways to manage it that I'd like to share with you. This isn't medical advice, so ask your doctor about your specific situation. I have a weight-bearing as tolerated injury, and if you have a non-weight-bearing injury, then be especially cautious about following anything that I say. I'm just a layman, and these are just some practical tips that I have discovered. You also might have a physical therapist, and they can help you with all these kinds of movements too. I came home to a two-story house. We decided that I would use crutches downstairs because I could use them to go on outdoors when I was ready. And then I have a walker for upstairs because that makes me feel more stable if I have to get up in the middle of the night. Having two different things keeps me from having to transfer equipment up and down stairs. And to go up and down stairs, at first, I just went on my hands and knees. I felt safer that way. It felt kind of childlike, but it was kind of fun. And you just do what works for you. Now I go up and down on two legs. When I first came home with a broken ankle, I was a little freaked out, and I felt very vulnerable because there were moments when I would have to stand on one foot. The first couple of days, I didn't want to bear any weight on the other foot, and so I felt like I was walking or standing on only 50% of my body. But then I remembered an exercise teacher had told me that each foot is a tripod, and so under the ball of my foot, under the outside corner of my foot, and at the heel at the back, I have a nice stable triangle to stand on. Now, I'm not saying stand all day on that, don't take risks, but it gave me confidence and it kept me from being so fearful to stand at a counter for a minute or getting around in the bathroom. It helped me to be more confident and therefore more stable. The first thing I did when I got home was say, we're getting rid of all the area rugs. I call them slip, trip, and flip rugs. They're a hazard. When you use a walker, you might be tempted to carry things on the front of the walker, like draping a towel or clothing over the front. Just be aware that can make the walker top heavy and make it tend to tip forward. You are using a walker for stability, so don't undermine yourself by loading it up with things that shouldn't be there. Everybody's got to have their phone with them, and you really want your phone with you when you're feeling vulnerable and might need help. So fortunately, I already had a lanyard that I can tuck the corners of my phone into. You can get these online. Also, if you don't have that, if you really have to get from room to room hands-free, you can, just tuck it in your waistband. That will at least get you across the house. Don't take it that way into the bathroom or it'll fall in the toilet. This might be a great time to get a battery charging case for your phone. I just ordered this online, and it can juice up my phone in an hour and a half just by pressing a button at the back. Pockets are so important, so that of course can be used to carry your cell phone around and other things around and get you hands-free, because you need to be hanging on to something to help you balance, especially at first if you're not weight-bearing. And I set out about 8 sets of clothing when I first got home with help, and even with underwear, socks, everything, so that I wouldn't have to be going back and forth, pulling drawers open and things like that. And I chose clothing that had pockets, preferably on top and on the lower half, because you will tend to want to carry things. And you should avoid using your hands for anything but holding yourself steady for as long as you can so that you keep your risk to a minimum. You were probably told that you need to elevate your broken ankle, and that of course can be done by lying on your back. But I felt for me that it was important to be able to move and be in different positions and elevate. You can lie on your side and your broken bone is still elevated. My doctor said it was better to have the injury above my heart, so a little higher than the heart. But just to get off of the ankle, of course, is wonderful. You can also even elevate when you're lying on your stomach, either with your head down or your head up reading a book. And your ankle can be propped on pillows or just up in the air. When I first got home, the first couple of nights, I just slept on the couch with blankets over me. But then that made me start feeling like I was just kind of camping out. I wanted to feel normal. I wanted to get in a bed with sheets, and so we tucked the corner of the sheet very tight on this side so that it would hold. And to sleep in a walking boot, you need to tent the sheet so it has some extra room for your boot, and I will show you in a minute how that works. And then you can still tuck in the sheet so it doesn't come apart. Now, I used a blanket across my body, but I didn't want any extra weight on the boot. It made it that much harder to turn during the night. Okay, when you first get in bed with a walking boot, it feels crazy heavy, and you might want to just help yourself and lift your leg. You might put this leg up first and then lift this one, or use this foot to lift this foot. So here's my boot under the sheet, not weighed down with a blanket. And so I can move easily because I have some latitude here. When I first started sleeping in a bed with a boot on, I was scared about twisting. I didn't want my toe to end up pointing a different direction from my knee. And I would think, oh, I need to turn over. Oh, it's going to be scary. Oh, I'm going to hurt myself. I'm going to twist my ankle. But what I realized is, don't think about the boot. Don't think about your foot or your ankle. Think about your knee. Tell your knee where you want it to go, and the boot will follow. So you can turn with confidence and you won't hurt yourself. Concentrate on your knee. So my boot has all this nasty Velcro, and it's wonderful that it's so adjustable, but this stuff is not fun to bang into in the middle of the night. So I put my good foot and leg into a pillowcase, and that protected me from rubbing up against the boot and the straps. Alternatively, you can put your boot leg into a pillowcase and protect the sheets of your bed and your other leg. But for some reason, it felt better for me to cover the uninjured leg. The first few days, it was very worrisome to try to move my foot, and I found that if it seemed like it would hurt or twist it to turn my leg when the leg was bent, if I would push my heel down against the boot and straighten it out, that felt better. It felt like I was making a choice and had control. If I wanted to turn but I was scared to do it with my leg straight, I would bend my leg, focus on my knee, and then I could turn without twisting it and without being afraid. You want to get clean eventually after breaking your ankle, and you've got to be safe. You need to be sitting down to take a bath or shower, And this has been very important for me. This is a detachable shower head, and actually I just leave it hanging so that I don't even have to reach up to detach it. It's there at my feet anytime and I can easily grab it. The first couple of weeks when I would try to put my foot down after elevating, I found it was very painful, and it would, the swelling around my ankle felt like it was interfering with the blood flow. And this is just a subjective feeling, but what I found for me was that if I would just straighten my leg and bend it a few times and give my ankle time before I took off walking, a lot of that pain was relieved. So send kind thoughts to your ankle. Enjoy the rest of your body. Make it feel as good as you can. And good luck with your recovery.